So what if the key to stopping a world-ending bioweapon wasn't some high-tech stealth jet, but a vintage wooden plane from World War II? It sounds crazy, right? Well, today we're going to break down a high-concept sci-fi thriller that hinges on that exact idea. It connects a massive global conspiracy with an unsuspecting hero in the most incredible way.
And this, right here, this is the central question that drives the whole script. You've got this huge, globe-spanning plot on one side, and then you have a family of bush pilots in Alaska on the other. The real nail-biting tension comes from trying to figure out how on earth these two incredibly different worlds are about to collide.
All right, so let's dive into the A-plot first, the global threat. And it all kicks off with this revolutionary scientific breakthrough, something that could either be our salvation or our total and complete annihilation.
You see, everything starts out with the best of intentions. Professor Wimpold, he's not some mad scientist. He's a brilliant guy just trying to solve world hunger. His fungus is supposed to be a miracle, a way to grow food way faster and better than we ever thought possible.
And this is where we get the screenplay's killer hook. This fungus has a terrifying switch. Use it one way, and boom, perfect ripe tomatoes in just a week. It could end famine. But, and this is a huge but, if you hit it with a certain microwave frequency, it doesn't create life. It consumes it. It literally just absorbs any organic matter in its path.
And just like that, in walks our villain. Mr. Kilgore, the billionaire, footing the bill for all this research. He sees this glitch, not as a catastrophe, but as an opportunity. In his completely twisted mind, the fungus isn't a fertilizer anymore, it's a tool for population control. I mean, how chilling is that? So naturally, this is where everything goes horribly, horribly wrong. Wimpold figures out what Kilgore's up to and tries to stop him. There's a struggle, a vial shatters, and in this awful, poetic moment of tragedy, the professor is killed by his own miracle invention. To sweep it all under the rug, Kilgore just has the entire lab blown to bits.
But there's one survivor, Wimpold's daughter, Ellen. She gets thrown clear of the explosion, but Kilgore's team immediately frames her for the whole thing. All of a sudden, she's a fugitive, on the run, and the only thing she has is a thumb drive with all of her dad's secret research, the only proof of what's really going on.
Okay, so get ready for a hard left turn. In a classic screenwriting move, we cut sharply away from that high-tech European conspiracy all the way to the vast, rugged wilderness of Alaska. This is where we meet our second hero.
And the contrast, it is just night and day. We go from these sterile, sinister corporate labs to the wide-open, dangerous but honest world of the Alaskan bush. It's such a powerful juxtaposition because it immediately makes you wonder, how are these two worlds ever going to connect?
And this is where we meet Shelley Tanner. She's not a spy, she's not a scientist. She's just an incredibly gifted bush pilot who happens to fly one of the coolest planes ever, a World War II de Havilland Mosquito, which is made almost entirely out of wood. She's tough, she's capable, but all she really wants is to get out of this life and join the Air Force Academy.
And if you want a perfect snapshot of her personality, look no further than this line. Some cocky client calls her babe one too many times, so what does she do? She puts her vintage bomber into a terrifying nosedive just to teach him a lesson. Yeah, you do not want to mess with her. Okay, so we've got a fugitive scientist on the run in Europe and a hotshot pilot flying a vintage plane in Alaska. How in the world do these two stories finally come together? Well, this is where the script starts weaving those threads into a single rope. So the intelligence agencies, they finally get Ellen's proof, and they manage to locate Kilgore's base of operations. And of course, it's a literal fortress, a command center built deep inside a dormant volcano on some remote Alaskan island. You can't get more villain lair than that. But here's the problem. The mission to stop him seems completely impossible. The target is buried under a mountain, so it's practically untouchable. And even worse, Kilgore's got this state-of-the-art radar system that creates a 100-mile defensive bubble. No modern aircraft can get anywhere close without setting off all the alarms. So here's the million-dollar question that has the world's best military minds totally stumped. Even a top-of-the-line F-35 stealth fighter can't slip through that sensor grid. They have the firepower to take out the base, but they have absolutely no way to deliver it. And here it is, the brilliant twist that ties everything together. The plan isn't to try and beat the radar with more technology. No, the plan is to go under it. To fly so low, you're practically skimming the waves and the cliffs, a kind of flying only a seasoned Alaskan bush pilot would even dream of attempting.
Let's just break this down. The F-35, for all its tech, still has a radar signature that Kilgore's system can spot. But Shelley's plane, the Mossy, it's a relic. It's made of wood, and that wooden frame makes it almost completely invisible to radar. It's the perfect, low-tech ghost plane for a high-tech job.
All right, so the solution's been found, the target is set. All the pieces are now in place for one final, desperate, high-stakes operation with the fate of the entire world hanging in the balance. And you gotta love the villain's dark sense of humor here. The deadline is the 5th of July. Kilgore plans to unleash his weapon right after a major holiday, guaranteeing maximum chaos and catching everyone completely off guard.
And this is the moment. This is how our hero gets pulled into this whole mess. A special ops team, pretending to be some rich fishermen, shows up and hires Shelley for what seems like a simple job: fly them and their heavy fishing gear to a remote spot. She has absolutely no idea she's just become the lead pilot in a mission to stop Armageddon.
So the final plan, it's basically a three-part harmony, and each part depends on a different character. First, you have Ellen, who provides the critical intel, the what, where, and when. Then, the International Space Station is going to use its power to jam Kilgore's satellite feed, creating one tiny 8-minute window. And in that window, it's all on Shelley to fly that strike team under the radar.
The stakes could not be higher. There is absolutely zero room for error. Every single piece of this puzzle has to click into place perfectly. If the timing is off by even a few seconds, if Shelley gets spotted, it's game over for everyone.
And that's what it all comes down to, right? The entire fate of human civilization is resting on the shoulders of this young woman who thinks she's just flying another charter flight. It's just a fantastic way to explore how ordinary people get thrust into these extraordinary situations, and it really makes you ask, are heroes chosen by destiny, or are they just in the right place at exactly the wrong time?